Welcome to another episode of the Journey Up podcast. I'm your host, Cyrus Duncan. The Journey Up is a storytelling podcast that dives deep into personal journeys through life's darkest hours and the resilience it takes to rise again. Each episode features a guest who shares a raw, unfiltered account of one of the lowest points in their life and the trials and tribulations they faced. Listeners will hear about the challenges, breakthroughs, and the strength it took to overcome adversity. Today I have a very, very special guest. Might be the most special guest that I've had before. This is the man who, I guess essentially I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this man. I wouldn't exist. I wouldn't have the mind that I have. All the great wisdom that everybody says that I have started all with this man in my life. Actually, I probably wouldn't be doing podcasts if it wasn't for this man, because early on in my life, I remember some of my earliest memories being going to the radio station with my father, who was with his father, where we would record a live episode for everybody to hear. So here we are, and in front of me I have my grandfather, Bishop Willie James Duncan.
What the great part of it is, I'm glad to be here with my grandson, and never forget this adage, that the fruit do not fall too far from the tree.
That's what they say.
Like father, so like son.
Yeah.
It's a great point to consider the effects of life. Offsprings are one of the most happiest, if I can use the term commodity or ownership of anything, is offspring, because that's the real you. And thank you for that accolade, and you're already starting out on a wise approach.
Absolutely. So at the beginning of every show, I have a card game that we play. It's called We're Not Really Strangers. Of course, we're not really strangers because you're my grandfather.
Yeah.
But even still, I will pull from this, and I'll ask the question that's on the card,
Sure.
and then you'll just answer it. Make sure it's not a crazy question, but to have some respect, because it's my grandfather.
All right.
Interesting. What can I help you with?
Well, what can you help me with? Just being a grandson, because that's who you became. You came into the world, grandson, and the talents and the abilities that the parents have usually is reflected into the offspring. It's a very important point. So be a good grandson and imitate the characteristics from grandpa, as the scripture tells us in the book of Deuteronomy 32:7. Ask your father, and they will tell thee, and thy elders, they will show thee. A tremendous amount of experience, not necessarily going to the school, colleges, and universities, but life itself is a teacher.
Life is a great teacher. I've learned a lot in my, you call, very young 26 years.
Yeah.
What did you tell me earlier? You said you just now starting to live.
Yeah, just started to live. You know, your feature is got there, you've grown up. You don't go taller, but you go wider.
Uh-huh.
And you can go also with wisdom from experiences and things of that sort.
Very good. Well, I guess what can you help me with? You said me being your grandson. I guess you being my grandfather then.
Yes, thank you. Throwing it back to me. That's
Just
the way.
throwing it back to you.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
The wisdom that it talks about in Deuteronomy that you're supposed to get from your father and your elders.
Yes.
I guess that's the answer. That's how you can help me continue to share the wisdom.
That is so true. It is most important. In 6:1 of Deuteronomy, the Bible tells the father to make sure that he learns the commandments of God and so forth. Then right after that it says, teach it to your children. And then it said to your children, all the days of your life. So you never get to learning from grandparents.
Very special. So I said I'm 26. How old are you?
Well, I'm approaching the age they call 85.
85.
Yes, somebody might ask the question is, how do you feel being 85? I guess I feel the same way it was going to 80, I suppose. I can still run, but not
You
as
can still
fast.
run.
Yeah, but not as fast.
You think you still run?
I think I can for a little while, but I can't do a whole mile.
Not a whole mile?
Not at all.
Okay, we'll test that out later. See if you can
Well,
still
we'll
run.
do that when I've got my stuff together.
So 84, about to turn 85.
That is correct.
We're about to go all the way back You told me. I said, we're going to talk about you, Granddad.
Yes.
You said, okay, let's make sure we start in Arkansas.
That is, you better do that.
So
That's
let's go ahead and start in Arkansas.
a
You was
very
born.
famous state. You ever heard of the terminology that said, and Noah looks out of the ark and saw?
That's what you told me. You said Arkansas is the only state that was in the Bible.
Yeah, in the way I put it and so forth.
Because Noah looked out the ark and saw.
And saw.
If y'all wonder where I get some of my humor from, it's from him. So let's look back to the Arkansas where you was born back in 1940. And let's talk about how it was.
How it was in the 40s? Wow. I don't know the time of me coming into the world, but I began to get acquainted that I was in the world. And one of the first thing I was learning about was the World War II period.
Because that was around World War II.
Yes. And World War II started around about 1939. Mm-hmm. I was born in 1940, and I got acquainted with sugar stamps, meat stamps. You ever heard of those things?
I ain't heard of near one of those, Granddad.
Well, the food was rationed back in those days, and so therefore we had to have a stamp. You get a certain amount of stamps that you can use those stamped up for meat, stamped up for sugar, and such like, so that everybody can have enough to go around. So you can't get too much because food was rationed.
Right.
And so I was one of the earliest things I remember, my mother did some bartering. You ever heard of the term barter?
I haven't.
Barter is you don't have no money, but you got some eggs, so you can take some eggs to the store and get something else with the eggs.
So basically, you take something and trade it for something else.
That's what bartering is. So if your money runs out, make sure you got something to see around the house.
It's a good negotiation tactic.
That's it.
I don't have this, but I do have this.
Exactly.
So you can have this and let me have this.
And you can just what you call bartering. So that a lot of lesson was learned from the approach given, coming up out of that one house. But the point was, I was born on what they call the Arnold farm. Arnold farm.
What is that?
As a man that had some land and had a farm, and my daddy moved down to the Arnold farm, and that's the time I was born.
On the Arnold farm.
On Arnold's farm. And then, of course, we came back up to that regular house that we was in, my mother's house, that came down from the Indian people. My Indian people then I came up in Curtis, Arkansas, and got a lot of home training, I'll say.
What were your parents like?
My parents was in Arkansas.
Yeah, what were they like?
What were they like? Hard workers. My dad was tough and rough, but he was a hard worker. And I say this in a great point. You'll never find a lazy Duncan. If you do, he's not a Duncan.
I was about to say, Grant, I don't know about that because I know a couple of them. I don't know you may not like to hear it, but you got a couple of them, Granddad.
But see, you give him a job.
You give him a job.
Yeah, then he'll work. Yeah, but now you got some might have not, it might have kind of backslidden from the point. But you give him a job to work, you do it. You do it, but mostly you don't have, I'm talking about any immediate Duncans of my particular sibling.
I hear you.
Now, the offspring, they get a little messed up. They sprang off.
He had to make the clarification. You talking about your brothers and sisters.
And the Duncans are always hard workers. Check with Uncle R.H., Uncle Jimmy.
How many siblings do you have?
I had about, it'd be 12 of us. One of them did not survive in the young days. Then we grew up with 11. 11, I don't like 11. 11 is always, used to have 12 and ended up to be 11. My mother had 12 children and lost one and ended up to be 11.
What were your parents' names?
We had DeWitt and Catherine Duncan. And my mother was from the Indian background. My grandmother was full-blooded Indian and born in Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma?
Yeah, Oklahoma, about 10, 12 miles from Curtis. You know, in that proximity. My daddy was not from the Indian background, but he married my mother. And, of course, these 12 children were born from that union.
What did your father do? You say he was a hard worker.
Yeah, a hard worker.
And in the 1940s, it wasn't that many options.
My dad came up under his father's jurisdiction. It used to be what you call people that build and made cross ties. You ever heard of cross tires?
For the
for
railroads.
Track. The railroads were going from east to west and so forth. My daddy was a person that made cross tires. And they had broad axe, big old wide axe. They had to shape that tire. Didn't have no machine to do it. They had to do it. And I saw my daddy one time walking down the lane from one direction, one location to the next one. Had a big old green cross tire you see on the railroad track on his shoulder walking. Tough man.
Very strong, huh?
Powerful muscles and things of that sort. My mother was a smart lady. She even grew peanuts for development of what they call government peanut, how to grow peanuts and so forth. So she was very good in cannons and things of that sort.
And you had 11 other siblings, or 10 other siblings. Which number were you?
Well, I am the 11th one. But going forward, there was somebody else older than me, but I'm saying you have to be the 11th one, the last of the two. My brother Joe was the baby. Mm-hmm. And he said he saw what I saw, but he didn't see everything I saw.
He's protected from some of it.
I guess so.
So what did you do in your childhood? You remember what those days were like?
Well, there was not much to do. We was out in the field, and we lay on the grass and look at the stars that were so clear at night. And the terminology we used was, we ain't got nothing to do. Nothing to do. And we had to make our toys.
Y'all make your toys?
Yeah.
Using a young inventor, huh?
We had to make our toys. We had a woo-woo toy we made.
What is a woo-woo toy?
A woo-woo. We put a thin piece of wood, square, kind of a long rectangle, about a foot long, and then put a string on the end of it, and we would take it in a circle and hit the ground and get in there and say, woo, 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 woo. And what we call a woo-woo. And we call it woo-woo because that's the sound it gave us. Woo, 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 woo.
Y'all were that bored.
No, I guess not.
I guess that wasn't bored. Y'all had something to do. Y'all had fun with it.
We made something to do. And we made also a guide. A guide. You don't know what happened to a guide?
A guide?
We take a stick, we take a can and flash it out and put it in up, and that can be able to hold something inside. We got something from a wagon tires, a little small round thing, and put it on that guide and then push it up and down the road.
Yeah, that don't sound fun,
and we
Granddad.
call a guide.
That sounds pretty boring.
Well, it was good for us.
As long as it kept y'all entertained.
Very much so.
That's all. That's
and it
all that
kept us out
matters.
of the other stuff too. Out of the bad stuff.
The bad stuff.
Amen.
What bad stuff they have back then? I guess it was different. We have two totally different experiences. You grew up in the 40s, 50s, 60s down in the South.
Yeah.
How old were you when you moved up north?
Oh, well, I was about 20 years old.
Oh, so you had already made it through.
Well, I was still coming through.
Coming through still, yeah. 20 still young.
Coming through. Now, I, unfortunately, whatever you want to call it, I graduated from high school 20 years old. Not my fault.
At 20 years old?
Right. You know why?
What was that?
Because we had two stages of class we went to when we went to school. They called, one of them is called pre-primer, and the other is called primer, and then first grade. So instead of graduating at 18, I graduated at 20 because I had to go to at 6 at primer, and then pre-primer, and then primer, and graduated at that point. But different in the approach. My brother Joe, he kind of went to school when we went to school because he thought that he's supposed to go to school with the rest of it. So he started the school 2 years earlier than I did.
So he graduated with you?
He graduated faster than I did. I said on that part, faster than I did. And then, of course, he went to school before he supposed to went to school. Mm-hmm. But he went through it on his start off. And when they found out that he was too young, they said, we might as well let you stay in it. so that's how Joe got in there.
Lucky Joe,
before the pre-primacy. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. So you graduated at 20. What was school like for you? What was that experience?
Well, we had one, you might say, one-room school. And had a partition between that for the little higher classes. It was sort of like the grade schools. And so we learned how to spell, and our first teacher was Talise Spears. And I remember one time.
That was her name?
We were standing in line, and they learned how to spell in B contacts and so forth. Uh-huh. And so they would ask how to spell this, that, and other. And I learned how to do something, and we used to do our hands like that. I got the answer. And they said, how to spell egg? And I did this. It said, E-G-G-A. First thing I was the champion of the class at that time.
Really?
Yeah.
So how you went through that whole, you said one class school basically.
One classroom. And they had a dividing partition in between.
But y'all right next to each other?
Oh, the wall, when they divided the room.
Yeah.
Then there was a wall they had to pull, like I guess a divider between the two class settings. Because it didn't go up until about, I guess, 8th grade. Mm-hmm. Then we had to go in Arkadelphia for the rest of the high school. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How long were you in school? Like, what was each day like?
What
was each day like? You would go to school every morning?
Yeah, every morning with peanuts in our pocket. Peanuts in our pocket. And some potatoes in our pocket. Half done peanuts and half done potato because we had to cook them on top of the stove. And then before time come, the peanuts can get done, so we took it to the school with half done.
I'm so thankful that I was not born then.
Oh, boy, you learned a lot when you were born.
I'm sure I learned a lot now from you being born back then. That it ain't for me.
But it's not like being there.
Yeah, I'm so thankful.
You didn't get the peripheral.
Thank God.
You might have had a straightforward view, but not the peripheral.
And again, thank God.
Life consists of surround the world, not just targeted in one direction.
You're right. Because you were a sharecropper too, weren't you?
Well, my daddy was, and I was working for him.
You was working with him at the same time.
You know what a sharecropper is?
It's too close to slavery is what it is.
Well, that's the next door. Hey, by the way, I used to live in a slave house.
In a slave house?
You ever heard of that?
A former slave owner?
A real slave house.
So you was a slave?
Well, no, I was a step ahead of slave.
You was a little bit free. What was the difference between the step ahead of slave
Well, we're going to work as sharecroppers.
So what's the difference? The slaves were just picking cotton. You just been a
sharecropper is totally different. You half free and half bound. Let me explain how that went. The slave house was a long house. We used to call it a long house. Mm-hmm. A quarter's here for the slave, another quarter for the slave. So we had about 3 or 4 different families standing in one long house. That would be called a slave house. And then my daddy became a sharecropper. And a sharecropper is, you get to do pay for all of the seeds, work your own field, and give half up to the boss. And what they did at that time, we had to, when the wintertime come, no food growing in the garden and nothing like that. We would have nothing. We had to go to the boss store. And like you got food stamps today, same principle. Boss store to get your clothes, buy your groceries, and they put it on a list and say, well, this is old, this is old. So what we did at the time of the summer, we had to work and pay the boss back before we got our own money from the sharecropping. I was standing there one time with my daddy asked the boss, because my daddy didn't keep the books. He said, boss man, I want to know how much is it that I still owe? Have I paid out yet? And the boss said, well, you almost paid out, but you still owe a little bit. You know what that meant, don't you?
He don't know how much he owed.
Didn't know how much he owed. And so the boss said, you didn't pay out this time. You know what that meant?
That means that he just had him keep spending his money.
No, that means that you can't leave the plantation.
Yeah, it's like I said,
Until
slaves.
you paid all the debt.
Y'all were slaves and didn't know it.
And no, we were half slave.
I'll tell you right now, Granny. I ain't trying to be no half slave, quarter slave, whole slave.
You just a little young whippersnapper.
Thank God.
But I was standing there with my daddy also. Asked the boss, has he paid all of the bills? Did I pay all of it? He said, yes, you paid it all this time. And then my daddy said, I'm going to move then. That's when he moved.
No, so that's the difference there.
Because his slave stayed in the
Slaves
boss.
had to stay.
Stay in the house. The house was provided for the boss.
So they didn't have slaves there at the same time, did they?
Not really. They just didn't know they were still slaves.
So they had some people who were still slaves.
Through ignorance.
Mentally.
Through ignorance. Through ignorance, still slaves.
Interesting.
Wow. But we left that went to the plantation.
It made me think. There's a lot of us today who are still slaves.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point to consider, son.
Mentally. We're free enough. Like your father had the wisdom enough to say, oh, I paid all that I was supposed to pay. Yeah. I'm going to get up and move now.
That's right.
When we pay all that we pay, but we'll keep paying it just because we think we're supposed to.
He that borrow anything, the Bible said a borrower is a servant to the lender. A servant to the lender. That's a nice way of saying
a slave.
A slave to the lender. He that think not with his head, works
with his hands.
With his hand. He that want to be free, you have to be able to have your own business.
Right.
And no one ruling over you. But he that think it with his mind is a master. But whosoever work because somebody told him move this, move that, he's not thinking. Have you heard of the term, the 7 liberal arts?
Yes, sir. I heard it from you a couple of times.
You know what that means? Well, you know something, you're free. Because to educate a slave,
it's the freest slave.
It's to free him. And remember this old Negro adage for liberation, a fund for the Negro in colleges. It said a mind
is a terrible thing to waste.
It's a terrible thing to waste.
Now, I also heard a story once. Someone said that the richest place in the world is the graveyard because that's where all the dreams go to die.
What? I never heard of that.
Never heard that one before.
What is it now?
They're closely connected.
Oh.
The richest place in the world is the graveyard because that's where dreams go to die. Or that's where all the people who died, who had all these great dreams and aspirations, but never actually executed on the dreams and visions, just died with them.
Yeah. Well, I heard about that in another way. When it said something about he that earning wages, accumulate riches, and saves it and don't use it. He said that's one of the great evils under the sun. And he accumulate riches, died, and leave somebody else to use it.
Solomon talked about that in Ecclesiastes too.
That's exactly right. One of the greatest.
He said in one part he said he's thinking about getting all rich and all this stuff, but then he thought about if I die and the fool gets it, then what's the point?
Yeah, they said that's a foolish thing to do that.
That's what so what you're telling me is I just need to start spending my money.
No, you need to save it too, so you can.
But you just said that if I save it and don't spend it, then.
Yeah, but the point of it is you have to know how to save.
Okay. I get you. I'm gonna start spending a little bit more though.
Yeah, if you don't, somebody's gonna take it when you go.
I remember Grandma used to say that.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was going on vacation, and we were having this conversation, and she's like, "Make sure you spend your money, cause you can't take it when you die."
Well, that's a good point.
And I was like, "I guess you're right."
But always have something in your pocket.
I know you told me you always keep $100 in your pocket.
That's right.
At least.
Do you do that now? I just be a fool somewhere else.
I
got $100 somewhere in my pocket now.
we're so resourceful nowadays that we got these. That just keep all the money I need right here.
Yeah, but what's gonna happen? You drop that in
I'm
the
not
water.
gonna drop in the water, Granddad.
If that's by accident.
It's always a what if or what about. You know, my car is electric.
Your car electric?
It's electric, so I gotta have this anyways. It's my.
You can't even run the car without that?
I mean, we got a little key card that I can use for it.
Electric. It don't have no gas to go.
How old were you when you first got your first car?
Oh, my first car, I was about, 22. That's when I first got married.
Were you living here?
Yeah.
When you first got
It's
married, you were
51 Ford.
51 Ford.
Yeah. 51 Ford. Got my first car. My first wife. My first child. My first salvation.
All at 22.
Yeah.
22 is a special age for you then, huh?
I was then because I found a special lady in my life named Zeola. You ever heard of that?
I heard of it before.
Yeah, a very beautiful, loving, kind woman. Yeah, you saw her before.
I mean, I think so. Yeah. See her in my dreams sometimes too.
Yes, I had my car at age 22.
Do you remember first meeting her?
First meeting her? Oh, yeah, she came all the way from West Virginia. My daddy, her dad, I'm sorry to say, told her that I got a preacher for you. And, of course, she was not that interested in the preacher.
She wasn't interested in the preacher?
No. Once I came, I didn't know she was as beautiful as she was when she did come. But she said that she did not want to be married to somebody that black I was coming from Arkansas. She said, that's the way you got from me. But the rest of it is her story.
Oh, man.
You didn't catch that point, did you?
I caught it as her story. Not his story, but that's her story.
Not history.
Because you know his story, but she know her story.
Yeah.
And I guess it went with her.
Yeah. And out of that matrimony, 15 children.
15 children, Mark.
Yeah, that's where your daddy come.
I guess that's where I come from.
Yeah, right.
Every time I tell people that my grandparents had 15 kids, they look at me like I'm crazy. Well, I said my grandparents had 15 kids. I ain't have 15 kids, and I'm not having 15 kids.
Don't never say you're not gonna do it.
Listen, Granddad, I'll say it on the camera, looking at the camera. I'm not having 15 kids.
That don't even work.
It don't work like that. I'm gonna make it work like
Life
that.
will bring about an experience.
I ain't having it, Granddad. You a strong, much stronger man than I am.
Look when I went down to Arkansas, I had a uncle by the name of Uncle Damon. He asked me a question. He said, "How many children you got?" And I said, 15. He said, "I mean children." You know what that means?
He thought you included some other stuff.
I guess so. He said, "I mean children." But 9 boys and 6 girls.
That must have been
an experience in life.
An experience for sure.
A good experience for anybody. To produce life is one of the greatest acts of procreation. Yeah.
I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful.
You hear from that.
I know. I'm so thankful that you have 15, but I ain't having 15.
But if Tidy wasn't born, neither would you be.
So thank God. Yeah. He was number 10.
You know what my youngest child told me?
Number 15.
The number 15. That is Tiberius Caesar. Duncan said, "Daddy, I'm so glad that you and Mama did not stop having children until I was born." He said it with a little fella.
He's young, huh?
He was I'm glad to be here. So one of the greatest things that our society is missing, the value of offspring.
Yeah.
The value of children. That's next to God. You ever heard the term creation? Have you heard the term procreation? Procreation is acting like God, bringing intelligence and people into the world to make the world a better place to live in.
Yeah.
Having offspring look like this and look like that and so forth like that.
I guess when you put it like that, it's a very beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Maybe I will have 15.
That sounds good.
No, I was just playing. I ain't having 15.
Whichever way the Lord bless.
The first, you know what the Lord God blessed me with first before you even think about kids?
What is it?
A wife.
Oh, that'll come on.
I'm not looking though.
No, they're for you too. It just happens.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah, it's
different nowadays, Granddad.
No, it still happens.
You ever had an Instagram?
Instagram?
Uh-huh.
No, I had some instant things.
Don't have the You had an Instagram.
I had an Instagram that fell in love with my first wife
That is beautiful.
on instant.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah, I'm
But Instagram don't make it that easy.
So what?
You said, let me tell you something, grandson. Just let her drink from the water fountain first.
Yeah.
Hey, no.
Huh?
No.
Ain't no water fountain.
Ain't no water fountains, granddad.
That's the principle is still there.
I guess the principle is still there.
Meaning show kindness first.
Absolutely.
Just like he said layout. Suppose you was ahead of this young lady and you went to the water fountain, pretty close to it, and you find out in your peripherals and background, oh, she's coming to get some water too, and you drop back and let her drink before you do.
You are so sweet.
Huh?
You are so sweet.
That's so nice.
Uh-huh.
And then he let me go ahead of him. Oh, wow. I like him. It starts something like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
See, young folks don't know how to initiate.
I'm trying to initiate.
Initiate.
It's different nowadays, granddad.
No, and I just
You ever heard of online dating?
that's too far from home.
That's too far from home.
Yeah.
That's how they find them. That's how they making homes nowadays.
Yeah, you don't fall in love with somebody in China. It's one that you're surrounding with.
Yeah, online dating is the people that surround you.
But no. Association bring about participation. You catch that point?
I got it. Association brings around participation. That's very true. Your environment makes you who you are.
So if you really want to find a good woman, don't go to the club.
Say that to the camera, granddad. Tell me.
If you want to find a good woman or good man, don't go to the club looking for them.
Where you got to find them at?
Around working like they did in the Bible. There's a man by the name of Elijah, Abraham's servant. And Abraham wanted him to go find a wife for his son Isaac. He said, I want you to put your hand under my thigh and swear that you're going to get a wife from my son Isaac. And Elijah said, no. In other words, he knew what that meant. Putting the hand up on the person's thigh and swear.
That invalidates it.
That'd be the thing you got to do. I don't care what it is before you die. You got to make sure that it's done. And so he asked Abraham, now is she not willing to come? Not willing to go? What am I supposed to do then? He said, well, you make sure you don't ask her again. Don't even go the second time. That's not the one. But he went further with his faith. Said, she will say yes. Yeah.
There's an important message there.
A good message. So you got to know how to initiate. Here's how he did to initiate the marriage. When he went to the Padanaram, he went to the place where the water, where the girls go out and draw water, pure, clean water from the well. And he prayed a prayer to God. That's where you start off your contemplation with prayer. Okay. He said, Lord, I'm standing here at the well. I gotta get this woman for my master, Abraham's son. And so, Lord, let it be. Now he's initiated now. That's the first girl that I asked for a drink of water. Let her say unto me, yes, I will give you a drink of water. And said also let her say, I will water your camels also. So the initiation was to ask the person. And so it was then that beautiful girl came up and walked in with the pitcher on the shoulder, went down and got the water out, and came back and the servant said, say, little girl, so to speak, will you give me a drink of water from your pitcher? That's initiation. Some folk don't know how to initiate marriages. But you have to do the first question. And then the second was, she got to do the answering. Said, I will also water your camels also. And he had 10 cameras that hold 13 gallons of water. And so we did that. And she said, yes, you may. And then, I'm going to also water your camel. I said, get her right now.
Said, there she go.
Get her right now.
Oh, man.
And that was the one. And then he has bracelet to put on her. Gave her some earrings and chains around her neck.
And said, here she is.
It said, I'd like to talk to your parents.
Just like that.
But he had to
So
talk
dating
to
is a fairly new concept then, huh?
It's not a new concept. It's an old one.
Oh, so you used to be going on dates then, huh?
Huh?
You used to go on dates?
Oh, I did too. I went to a date one time to watch the 10 Commandments. Something like that.
It was in black and white.
I don't know what it was on, but it was able to see my sight. But we couldn't go downstairs.
Y'all couldn't go downstairs.
No, because during the Jim Crow days.
It's the white people. The white people didn't let you down there.
No. We had to go all the way upstairs to do so. But nevertheless, it's the point. He wanted to see the parents. Don't try to marry somebody without the family.
Very true. Because what you said, you married the good, the bad.
Yeah. And the others.
And the others.
Yeah. Not the ugly, but the others.
The ugly too, Granddad.
Yeah.
In there. The one thing you said never force, I will.
Never force. But here's the point. Out of all that point, this little girl started out saying, I will.
Yeah, that was the important part I got from the story.
Was the important part.
You said the initiation. I said, okay,
that's right.
That's neither here nor there. Men initiate all the time.
Yeah, and so
nowadays they call it shooting the shot.
What? What is that?
Shooting the shot.
I ain't never heard that.
You ever heard of shoot your shot?
New stuff.
I mean, like I told you, it's different now. We ain't got no water fountains.
They messed up.
We got DMs now.
What?
DMs.
What did you say?
Direct messaging.
You said
you don't go to the water fountain. You go on Instagram. That's the issue.
Yeah.
See, now you know. Now you know where my confliction. Why it makes it so hard.
You got so much trouble to find.
I tried to. That's why I don't like talking about it too much. It made me sad, Granddad.
Instagram is.
I don't want to talk about it too much.
The way to go, because hey, by the way, by the time you get to the girl's house, you look at her and look at her mama. Because the way her mama is, that way she gonna end up being. So the mama, big, tall, fat person.
Yikes.
And she might be skinny right now. So,
maybe she got some of the other side of the genes.
I don't know, but what you see is just about what you get to. So you go and check the house out, and check the family out, and you will find out, do I really want this person or not? And guess what? That girl was so beautiful. And when Isaac saw her, it was love at first sight.
That is so beautiful.
No
for
dating
Isaac.
either.
No dating. That's
just
so
love at first sight.
Don't do that today. Make sure y'all get to know him, go on dates. Isaac ain't them days no more.
Yeah, but Instagram is not the way to go.
Okay, Instagram not the way either.
Yeah.
And that's why every time you see me, you ask me, Tyrus, you ain't found her yet? Yeah. What'd I tell you?
Well, I guess you said not yet. And
I don't say not yet.
You said not looking? Well, one thing about it, she'll find you.
Okay, maybe.
When it happened, someone would say, oh, like that water fountain thing?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow.
When that happens, if it happens, I'll let you know. But until then.
Well, you don't have to worry about it. Then it will come.
Okay.
It will come. And
like I said,
you know when it comes, too. There's a lot of folks trying to get me when your first grandmama.
Mm-hmm.
Your first grandma. And I just asked her to do something when I was trying to contemplate.
They was trying to get you with her?
Want to get me without her. The other girls were after me. I'm trying to say.
Other girls was after you. You had it like that?
Tough fella from Arkansas, boy. Did you
Tough fella from. They like the little chocolate granddad, huh? Little chocolate Willie James.
In the school when I was going to, I had the two most beautiful girls in the whole school.
They was fighting after you, wasn't they?
Huh?
They was fighting after you?
Not fighting.
All right, they both wanted you.
They was interested.
My God.
And guess what happened?
What happened?
And one time, one of them came up and cornered me and brought the other girl, too. And she asked me a question. Which one of us do you want? I said, that one over there. That should have been young folks.
You said that one. Why you choose her?
Because she was church goer. She loved to go to church.
Oh, man. So you have the foundation even still already.
The main point there.
I don't know how we got here, Granddad, because I told you I don't like talking about dating a woman too much.
But I needed to help you out.
Okay, I understand.
I wanted to make sure you get the right one. Because
I'm not.
That have effect on your life.
Would you say that's one of the most important decisions for a man to make?
One of the main things that God said to Adam, be fruitful and multiply.
This is why you're so passionate about this subject, then, huh?
Oh, yeah, that's life. These folks want to go into what they call same-sex marriages and homosexuality and lesbianism. It's a miserable thing. You don't have no offspring. You can't make a baby with a woman and a woman, and a man and a man. You got to be a male and a female. So it's so messed up society. It's so messed up because they're not going by the divine formula. When they say be fruitful and multiply, suppose a person never have a child.
Yeah.
It is just like they never existed.
My God.
No offspring. Nobody that look like them. Nobody that... That's life.
That is life.
And otherwise, it's a miserable death while you live. Nobody around, no offspring, no uncle. I mean, no offspring uncles. The children say, "That's my daddy, brother. This is my mama's sister." Life is all about association, not material things.
Right. Speaking of life, I told you the point of this show was for you to take me to the lowest moment you've ever experienced, and for us to talk the lowest moment that you've ever experienced.
What? You never told me that.
I told you that one right there, Granddad.
When did you bring that up?
I told you at the beginning of the episode. Remember, I read it. I told you a podcast called The Journey Up, because we're supposed to talk about your journey up from the lowest moment you've ever experienced.
Oh, the journey up from.
Yeah.
Not the.
We don't have to talk about the journey down unless you want to.
No.
But
wow. The lowest. What do you say?
The lowest moment that you've ever experienced and how you overcame it.
I never heard that question.
It's a tough one right there, ain't it?
Oh, that is.
One time someone asked me that question.
No, I'm going to tell you this, young fella. I don't think you want to be able to hear this one.
Of course, Granddad.
The lowest moment I ever felt was when I lost your first grandmama. My 24 hours turned into 48 hours a night. And my 24 hours or 12 hours of the day turned into a 48, so I ended up with 48 hours in one day.
My God.
Everything that you looked around used to be a part of that family. As a union, the coat, the hat, the shoes. And that's the lowest thing anybody can experience when you lose a loved one. I mean, when you lose a wife. And that's a bad lowest moment of my life right there.
You still remember what the day was like?
Which day?
On the day.
Did that happen? Oh, well, there's some things you don't want to talk about on that, but it did ask a lot of questions. One of them was, why? And the other one said, if. I was saying, if I was there when she passed away, I could have talked to God, and God would primarily let her live. If I said, no, Lord, don't you do this to me. I can't take this. So God didn't let me be around when that happened. And then the next question came, why? Why, Lord, why you do that? You know, a lot of things happen in life. We cannot explain them. I'm going to give you one thing that I learned in the newspaper when I was coming from Muskegon, Michigan. In the newspaper, I think the Muskegon Chronicle, they had a passage in there that said, there's a lot of things you wish didn't happen in life. Guess what happened? Guess what it said after that? Nothing, nada. So why you bring that subject up? I want an answer to that. Don't you bring that up to me. I thought you had an antidote to that circumstance. But when you're out there with no antidote, no answer, it's teaching a lot of lessons when things went silent. Nobody gave me an answer. I wish it didn't happen, but it did. Could you tell me how to deal with that? I want you to give me that found answer. Oh, I felt that way before. And but I found out the such and such and such and such. There was no answer to that. There's some things in life come to a dead end. That's death. And then, and the greatest point in my ministry was when I found somebody else to come to that rescue after losing a loved one. Because I had an ambition in life to do this, the other, and that's the wife I have now. And of course, a lot of folks didn't understand that one, but the same test went for her too, as whether she say, "I will" or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you felt with the loss of somebody to fulfill that, and not necessarily replace the person, but to also have somebody else helped on the journey of.
That's the quickest way to come out of stress. Have you read the case about Isaac? He lost his mother, and his mother died. I think about for 3 years. She was mourning over his mama. Isaac got married when he was 40, and his mother died when he was around about 37 or something like that. And the Bible said he was comforted after he married Rebecca that day. So the comfort of all life is continuing life on. And so I needed somebody to replace that heaviness. So I had to find somebody else to say, "I will."
Yeah.
And that's kind of hard when you get older.
For sure.
It's kind of hard to find somebody to say, "I will."
Yeah.
And so I had to go through the process of examining all those particulars.
Yeah.
So I said, I know I got to get married again. So who will that be?
I mean, because at this rate, you spent from 22 years old all the way up into 80 years old.
That's tough stuff.
With somebody.
Yeah. That's a tough experience.
Yeah.
But I found somebody that was also to come at my latest days. And when I found out that, I said to her, I said, "Well, you know, we have nothing going on." Somebody's second wife, between one another. But I said, after I found out that contemplation might be interested, and the question was, I come to her and said, I need somebody, so I want to ask you a question. Will you be willing to practice to try to fall in love with me? Because I need somebody down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Will you be willing to participate? I don't know how long it might take.
Mm-hmm.
It might take 6 months. It might take a couple of years. But she said, "I will," and that's the magic word right there.
Mm-hmm.
"I will," and the rest of it's her story.
Yeah.
You didn't catch the point, her story.
I got that. I got it. I caught it again this time.
You did?
Yeah, I caught it.
It's her
I caught
story.
it.
And so that was a great comfort in God. See, you can, let me say this emphatically. If you get to make the wrong decision in marriage, it mess up your life.
Everything.
Forever. That's why my children should keep themselves celibate until marriage. Because you lose it so much if you get involved in the sexuality before time. You get children born and they get scattered hither and thither. That's one of the bad experiences. You know, divorce is worse than death to a great extent to the children. To the children, it just tears up. God never intended that to happen, but it does happen. But yet, finding the next person to take that place is a great show of life. And of course, I think I found the right one.
That is good.
And a lot of folks say, "Why do you get her?" Because that's the one that fit. On the side of other folks, that was probably been nice and kind, but not like this one. You hear what I'm saying? And she's a nice person. And guess what? One of the reasons why I married her, because she had a lot of children. I thought they were going to be so happy. And she raised 10 children, and I raised 15. But I'm still trying to get the children together now.
Yeah.
That's what you might call the syndrome.
Yeah. I mean, that even still, that's a big thing for a child to accept also. Because even to think about their parents being at the age that they're at.
Yes.
And they're like, wait
point.
a minute, mama's getting married, daddy's getting married.
Yeah, that's a bad.
Like,
that's
they
a
are in their heads.
Traumatic experience.
In their heads too old.
Yeah.
Essentially. But also it's like, what's the alternative? What they expect for you to do. You've made it very plain that you think one of the most valuable things that somebody could do or be in is a relationship with somebody else.
100%. Very, very.
Because that feeling of loneliness is, I think, the quickest way to darkness.
It is darkness.
I always say the first thing that God said was, "It is not good for a man to be alone."
Oh,
He named
you
all
get that
these.
scripture there, boy.
I mean, it's right there in Genesis. He named all these good things, right? He named like he said, I created the world, and it was good. I created the light, and it was good. I created the trees, and it was good. Then he got to the man. He said, I created man, and it was good. But then he looked at the man a little bit further down the line. He said, wait a minute. I saw the man that's alone, and that's not good.
That's the first time God ever said.
That's the first time God
not
said.
Good.
Yeah.
For man to be alone.
Because there's so much that happens when you're alone.
That's right. The purpose of life is not being able to regenerate, procreate alone. All of the riches and all of the things a person might have in life is not as valuable as having a family. But it's a lot.
So the most beautiful thing that someone could do is have a family.
Have a family. And so and guess what happened to Abraham when he's lost his wife?
What happened?
He got married again. I said he got married again. You hear what I said?
Hear you.
And he was 100 and some odd years old when he got married again. See?
So what do you think people expected for you to do when Grandma died?
To stay with them and not give up the association that they're used to. But I'm the one that lost the most.
Yeah. So from them, they're speaking of a place of comfort and discomfort at the same time.
This is my daddy. This is my mama. So we have to be very careful when we call daddy. If the new marriage come in and don't call the other mama too. I know it's hard to get that changed.
Yeah. I mean, you see it a lot different with you're 80, about to be 85 years old.
Yeah.
Versus somebody who is 40 versus someone who is 20 versus someone who is 15. Those are a lot of different perspectives.
Yes,
and I'm sure for me, the days seem, how do I put this? For you, the days seem much more precious than they do for me because you've experienced so much already.
Yeah.
So the time is flying.
Yeah.
You've experienced 80 years over and over again.
Yeah.
It's like a year almost. It's like a month.
Yeah.
For me, a year still, it's kind of getting there. Probably like 6 months, 8 months. But I know it's
don't know how long it's going to be.
You don't know how long it's going to be, but
might be next week.
You're right. But time feels a lot different.
Yeah, well, it depends on how many irons you got in the fire, so to speak, in that reference. But it's a very grave experience when you lose a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, the children lost something too. And it's kind of hard for them to get a new person to come into their life.
Yeah, because it's an adjustment. And when you make any type of adjustments, it's a strange feeling.
Adjustment. But the greatest adjustment is the person that lost a loved one. In other words, if it's created to the point, if a person get a new loved one and the people did not like it, I heard a case one time. It was some children that told one of my brother-in-law wife, said, "Daddy," when her daddy died, "Daddy, we don't want you to get married to nobody else, Daddy. We want you for ourselves. You, my daddy." And Daddy needed somebody else. And guess what happened? Daddy never did get married to somebody else. But he lived his life without happiness all by himself because the children were selfish. So I don't want to share my daddy with nobody else. You're my daddy. Well, the daddy got a life to still live, too.
No, that makes sense.
Like Abraham had a life to still live. And so...
Because essentially, I mean, your life is not over.
Amen.
And I think that when we attach emotion to decisions, we often get flawed results.
For our own selfish.
Because of how we feel. And I find it important when making any decision to take out the emotion and to look at the logic. Yeah. I mean, you can consider the emotion, but when you make the objective decision, you need to trust that it makes sense.
And that's on both sides of the aisle.
On all sides, yeah.
Yeah, all sides of the aisle, it makes an adjustment. But when the sun goes down from the day, then you have to determine this. If a person loses a loved one, they certainly don't want to lose that mate of that husband or that wife. You don't want to lose the children too.
Right.
You see, now, if a person loses a loved one, and then they lose the loved one offsprings too, so you lost not only the mother, lost the generation of children.
Yeah.
All children and families supposed to be together. and cause things to go forward as they should go.
Do you feel like your relationship with your children has changed since grandma died?
100%. I lost grandmama, then I lost my grandmama offspring. I lost it in her being, and I lost it in the children because they're not able to
Conceptualize, yeah.
the changing.
Grieving is an interesting thing.
Yeah,
To be able to conceptualize the loss of something
yeah,
and also the addition of something else.
right.
It takes patience, it takes
Patient
grace.
time. But here's something in the Bible that I never was able to get a comfort out of in the first chapter of Matthew. There was a scripture that said that Jeremiah wrote, and I'm not wrote, but Jeremiah spoke when the children was killed in the time of they kind of killed those children of 2 years and under when Jesus was born. And he brought out the saying of Jeremiah, said, Rachel is weeping for her children and cannot be comforted because they were not. And the scripture cut off just that.
Just like that newspaper article, huh?
I wanted to bring that in, but you're so smart, young fella. You must be growing up to be a quite intelligent young fella. That's what's going on there. You get your little hint to the wise is sufficient. And so the weeping over their children could not be comforted, but they were not. You remember the story of Joseph in the Bible?
Yes, sir.
When those jealous boys, because Joseph was a boy of many,
His father favored him.
favorite, so to speak, and because he was the first son of the woman that he loved the most,
Yeah.
and it was Rachel, and so they got jealous, and they put up a point. They want to kill Joseph. Isn't that trouble?
Yeah.
But
I
Reuben
mean,
said,
it goes
"No."
back to what we were just talking about, emotion and attach emotion with your decisions.
Exactly.
I don't like that dad likes him more,
Yeah.
so we need to kill him
Yeah,
without using logic.
that's right.
Do you think that
You
you killing him is going to make your father like you more now? Like, honestly, you think you going to kill his favorite son and he just going to like you more?
the point. But see, they put up a disguise, though. They put him in a pit to make up their mind what they're going to do. And then along came what they call it, the Midianites and the Israelites going down into Egypt. And some of them came with an idea, hey, we can sell Joseph into Egypt. Sell Joseph into Egypt. You don't have to kill him. Sell him, get it out of our sight, it out of daddy's sight. And we're going to tell daddy that the beast killed him. And we're going to disguise everything by taking his coat, tear it to pieces, and put some blood, that animal DNA testing on it. And guess what happened?
What's that?
Joseph was sold down into Egypt. They took that back to Joseph. And said, your son, I'm back to Jacob. I said, your son Joseph got ate up by the beast. Got ate up by the beast. And Joseph said, oh no, my favorite boy, he's dead. Not you, Joseph. And he made this statement, oh my, I cannot be comforted. His children, his daughters came to try to comfort Joseph. And Joseph, don't leave me alone. Leave me alone. I'm going to go down to my grave.
My God.
Over my son, Joseph. And guess what? Joseph was not even dead, but the sorrow was there.
As if he was.
Sorrow was there. And guess what? Jacob mourned for Joseph about 17, about 17 years before he found out that Joseph was still alive. Yeah. And when they found out that Joseph was alive, and then brought and daddy to see Joseph, and Joseph said, I thought you was dead, but now I find out that you're still alive. But I'm trying to show you that he was in much sorrow for many years, weeping, and nobody could comfort him. But that was a lesson to learn from that. So we got to make sure that we adjust ourselves on both sides of the aisle as much as we can. But to lose a loved one and the loved one children too is a whammy.
What is something that you don't think that your children understand that you want them to?
Well, it's a natural thing of what you call a syndrome. Have you heard of the term syndrome?
I use it all the time.
What is it then? Did you know what it is? What is a syndrome?
A syndrome, how do I put this in a way that it's consumable? Essentially, a syndrome is the effect of something.
That's a fact. But let me tell you what a syndrome, from my perspective. Okay. Got a little more age on you.
Yeah.
You ever heard of the AIDS?
Mm-hmm.
AIDS, what is it?
So this is a syndrome, essentially.
Yeah. A is acquired immune deficiency syndrome. They put an S to it because unexplainable. Whatever your cousin Jairus, he had a syndrome in his body. His immune system thought Jairus' kidney was a foreign kidney of somebody else's body. And whenever you have what you call a transplant of an organ, they have to suppress the immune system so they won't turn on that transplant and kill it. We had somebody that come to our church, Brother Denny, years ago. You might remember him.
Yes, I do.
He had a liver transplant, and then he stopped taking the rejection medicine because he wanted the Lord to heal him, and his liver died, and he died too because the immune system turned on that liver. Jairus' case, his immune system turned on his kidneys and ended up to be a syndrome. Why would your own body turn against your own body? That's the syndrome that happened in children, in families that are being broken up. The scriptures requires, let brotherly love continue. And it takes understanding to come through that, of course. And a person that survived it can be a teacher. Probably can preach it too. He might even be a pastor if you learn how to stay around long enough to wipe the tears away. And this new person that I found, guess what, was able to help wipe the tears away. You might not understand this one. There might be another syndrome. I would cry over my ex-wife in her arms. That's a tough point, that, ain't it? You mean to tell me this person had so much love and respect for you that she would let you cry in her arm 2 times over the loved one that you lost by death? It was not a divorce. This was death. Death is cruel and mean. But I guess if anybody find a woman like that, get her quick before somebody else catch her. But you had to see that ahead of time, that person had that capability. So not only do children, but what happened if we lose the children, you lost the other person twice or thrice. Not only twice, that's right, but the whole generation. It goes into oblivion. It's sort of like trying to follow the shadow on the other side of the body. You know what a shadow is on the other side of the body? How does a shadow occur?
Essentially, it's only an image.
But it's usually when the sun is coming from the east, which way does the shadow?
On the west.
To the west. When the sun keep on coming from the east to the body, what happens? What happens?
The shadow goes away.
The shadow goes away. But the sun goes on the other side of the body, it makes a shadow again, but it's on the wrong side to follow. The shadow then on the other side dissipates. Don't follow the shadow on the other side of the sun because it takes you nowhere but to oblivion.
Yeah.
So the point would be we have to learn a lesson from this or that, from other things. One person hurt the most, but the other person is just, I just want my mama. I just want my daddy. I want such and such and such. But life has an experience. My case is not the same. in the sense of experience, but the result is always the same. I talked to a pastor not long ago, well, a couple of years ago. He said, I waited 2 years to marry my new wife, and my children still left me. My children still left me. I'm experiencing. I thought if I wait 2 years, that should work. No. It works on both sides of the aisle. There are people that might have been single for 32 years, and the children still don't want them to get married because that person belongs to that individual.
Yeah, and I guess essentially most of it just comes from our inability to try to understand.
That's a great wise
or not
statement.
even to try to understand, but our inability to understand even if we try.
You're doing a great job, son. You're getting wiser and wiser. And I tell you, must be a good reason why. Not only just to hear granddaddy, but the granddaddy hear you too.
Yeah.
A wise statement. The ability, that's a scripture that the Bible in the book of Mark, I think it is, around about 12, 27, 37. When the person came to Jesus and said, what is the greatest of all the commandment, Jesus? And Jesus gave the answer and said, the greatest of all the commandment is to hear, O Israel,
Lord our
the
God
Lord
is
thy
one.
God is one. One Lord. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, with all thy mind, and all thy strength. And then Jesus answered, and thy neighbor is thyself. Upon these two hanging on to the law and the prophets. And guess what? The young man said, true, Lord, you have answered the truth. For the whole duty of man is to love God and love his neighbor, for this is the whole duty of man. But he added something to it, love with a good understanding. Yeah. To know how to love rather than how to hate. So hate is automatic.
Understanding is the foundation of love.
That's the catch right there. Knowing how to love, knowing how to forgive, and all of the things that we have and that happen to us in life is a good experience to help other folks.
Yeah.
Because that's that feel, felt, found thing that comes up again. I know how you feel. I felt that way before, but I found out.
Yes.
You see, that's the confidence. That's what you're doing in your cast and so forth.
Yeah.
Is to talk to the individual.
No, for sure. Because I think even being in our family, I think a lot of the essentially grievance after grandma died, and then the also grievance of dad is moving on already, comes from a place of a misunderstanding, a lack of understanding, the inability to understand. You needing somebody to help you grieve does not mean that you loved grandma any less.
Right. Exactly, 100%.
And you could look at it as you love her so much, which is why you needed somebody.
Yeah, because I can't take it.
Because you can't take the pain of not having somebody.
The love.
And I understand from your position. I understand the position of the children of just being, but mom is gone.
And never can bring back.
And that's just, you made a good point of when the shadow leaves, you don't turn around and try to chase the shadow.
Yeah.
You let the shadow go.
Yeah, because it's already fulfilled the body.
Although that, and that's a hard thing to, loss is one of, I've experienced a lot, we
all had a lot of experiences.
A lot of loss in life.
I told you all that before.
Yeah.
Your family, your siblings, lost grandmama. I'm talking about grandmama on your mother's side. Mm-hmm. And lost uncles, lost friends. You were just back to back. Just like, is this what life is?
Yeah. And even through that, what I've learned, that nobody can tell you how to grieve correctly.
That's right.
Nobody can look at it and say, you should do this instead of this. You should do this instead of this. Because even then, every interaction is different.
Yeah.
But all you can hope is that people continue to try to love.
Yeah.
And through the grieving process, through understanding that someone has lost something that is near dear to them, that you try to be there.
That's right.
Because what is lost? It's missing something. It's the break of something. It's something was there and now it's not.
Yes.
And how do you deal with that? Who knows how you deal with that?
Yeah.
But I know one thing that helps is by being there.
Yeah.
So even with that being said, I pray that you have seen me try to be there for you.
Oh, sure. All the children just didn't know how to respond,
Yeah.
and that's the reason why my love is always there. My children get in trouble, and guess what? You can ask my present wife, help them with this.
Because your love for them is still the same.
Thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
One child needed to buy a home. Daddy, I need $3,000. It's all right, help your baby. These are my ideas that may need that. I might need such and such and such. The love is always there, but to be there to understand the sense of the need. Here's the point I wanted to speak, since we were talking about the point of emphasis. Guess what happens when Lazarus died? You heard of Lazarus in the Bible?
Yes, sir.
And that's a close-knit family there. And the Bible said in the 11th chapter of the book of St. John that Jesus loved Mary and Martha. And then, of course, they loved Lazarus too. And they sent a message to Jesus. They said, the one whom you love, Jesus, is sick. Oh, I know you're going to come in a hurry because the one you love is sick. Lazarus is sick. And what happened? Jesus stayed what?
You stayed there.
He stayed still.
Yeah.
Until Lazarus died and didn't come. But certainly, Lazarus, my friend. But Jesus deliberately stayed longer. Then he finally shows up. And when he shows up, the sisters came to say, if you'd have been here, my brother Lazarus, how come you didn't show up, Jesus? See, one of the greatest consolation in any death is the association of your friends and loved ones. They used to have in Jeremiah day what you call mourning women. They would come and help wail for you, cry for you, throw your arms around. But Jesus was not around to show anything to his one he loved. How come you didn't show up, Jesus? We sent a message to you. We knew you were going to come. We knew you had the power because we saw you healing all the time. But Lazarus is dead now. He's in the grave. And Jesus said, you see, I know, Lord, you see him in the resurrection. But we need you now. We need you now. How come you didn't show up? I'm glad that wouldn't come because I want y'all to learn something from this. Mm-hmm. It's just a lesson that we learn from all of those things. They make us stronger.
Every loss has a lesson that's attached to it.
Has a lesson attached to it. And so Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. But here's the point. When he got to the grave, the Bible said, what is the shortest verse in the Bible?
Jesus wept.
Jesus wept. We're trying to find out, why is Jesus weeping? The sorrow hits all of us. Yeah. And maybe he was weeping because they didn't believe. Or maybe it's weeping because he lost Lazarus to the human side. Because Jesus had both a human side and he had the God side. But he acted not on the God side. He really acted on the human side. Because he had to taste and go through experiences just like everybody else did. And so it was Jesus wept. But he did it for a lesson. Like you said a moment ago, loss, it brings about an experience. Our family shall become greater if we learn the lesson. But there's a lot of folks don't learn the lesson. A certain sister lost her husband. Guess what happened? She was so distraught until the house the husband was living in, he had hang his coat on the wall, and she wouldn't move it because that's where he put the coat on. I could see that coat hanging on the wall. Guess what she had to do? She had to move out of the house.
My God.
Because those are the experiences. But if you can learn a lesson from somebody else's experiences, that means you don't have to go through it yourself. Yeah. And you'll be able to teach others. That's what life is all about. It is a bunch of experiences.
What would you say the most important lesson you learned from the lowest moment of your life was?
So what?
What is the most important lesson that you've learned from the lowest moment of your life?
The lesson I learned that you can hurt in different kinds of ways, and people don't even know and understand that you're hurting because they're hurting too. And the lesson I get from that is to let them have consolation that all the experiences, like you said a moment ago, that we're going through, somebody else has went through that. And we can do that feel, felt, found, and then we can write a book. But don't let it be a book that I heard in the vicissitude of life. A person around 85 years old and getting ready to write a book. And if he didn't do it earlier, he said, if I were young, this is the book that I would write if I were young.
Finish that sentence. If you were young, what?
If I were young, well, I just like the experiences I've already went through because I still found.
So you do it all the same again.
Because it caused me to now still have the love of God, the experiences on my way to heaven. And I'm not the dumbest person in the world. Amen. I can count. Yeah. I can tell you that 1 + 1 = 1.
Granddad, they ain't ready for that. They gotta come to the class.
No. I got to tell you, 1 + 1 = 1. Do you know that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How do you know that?
Because I've been around you 26 years.
I'm glad you got that much information.
There is no number outside the number 1.
That is exactly
If you get to the number 100, you just got 100 ones.
Well, you already got it, son. Is that something?
The people watching this, they're gonna know. They be like, I see who Tyrus gets this from. One, they can be like, I thought Tyrus was dramatic until they hear you.
Yeah, but the fruit don't fall too far from the tree.
One thing I didn't get that I like from you, you got a nice voice.
A nice voice.
Yeah, your voice is very nice.
Well, I really appreciate that. Because I've been having a tough time with that voice because I talk so much.
That's why it has like a nice raspiness to it.
Grasp that. It's an old country type.
Like you could go and narrate. You know Morgan Freeman?
Yeah.
You have a voice. I think your voice is better than his.
Well, thank you very much. I should maybe have enough to go for the rest of the day or the next of the week or the next of the year.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful interview for you to talk about. Hey, don't you know one time I went to Oxford University?
Yes, sir.
You know that? You know why I went?
To speak to the people.
Why?
What they call you, one of the greatest minds of the 21st century?
They really said that. And if you think something different from that, you just check them out. Because I did go.
Yeah.
And you know what Oxford is, don't you?
A prestigious university.
Very much so. And they invited me to come to Cambridge, too, to make a speech. And I said, if I come to Oxford, I want to say something. He said, all right. Write your speech out because we got a lot of dialects over here. My dialect is from Arkansas. You know?
Arkansas, that's different. That is different.
And so I went there to Oxford with my hand in my pocket like I just came from my streets of Arkansas, the country of Arkansas, before I made my speech. And I got up and spoke at Oxford University, not as a, I didn't go to Oxford as a student. I went there as a lecturer. Mm-hmm. And I said, just because you say you know something or say something, it doesn't make it true. It's only true.
If it's true.
If it's true. I said, in reference to education, politics, and religion. I said, what? I never heard nobody speak like that before, because everything they say, they think is right. And so you can be wrong about your politics, you can be wrong about your education, you can be wrong about your salvation. So listen to me, plain. I'd like to talk to you on the subject of the 7 liberal arts coming from Arkansas.
You blew them out the water right there.
Yeah, I blew them out the water. What we talking about? Religion. You talking about this educational field, boy. A man, whoever I made, I was probably 40 or so. 7 liberal arts? I said, yes. It has to do with just one thing. Learn how to count and tell what you count. Well, I said 2 things, really. Learn how to count and tell what you counted. Quadrivium and trivium. You ever heard that term before?
I heard you say that, too. See? I told you I've been around for 26 years, Granddad.
You must have got a lot of things.
I be hearing that. Your voice be in the back of my head.
Yeah.
Anything, I'm going to do something I'm about to do that's right or wrong. Wow. Your voice be in the back of my head.
Wow.
You've had a large effect in your 85 years.
I really appreciate that.
Not just on me, but I'm sure all of your 15 children.
Oh, yeah, they got one part or the other.
They love and respect you very much.
Oh, yes, I
as
know.
well as your hundreds of grandchildren.
Michael is always bragging on the point that I stood around Daddy to learn how to fix cars.
Yeah, and they all love you from.
And your daddy even learned how to quote some scriptures too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He reminds me a lot of you.
Well, that's something good. Isn't that wonderful? And so when I was speaking over that at Oxford, I said, all learning has to do with counting. Science, one, is a lesson you learn that's not but one. And 0 is another lesson you learn. I said, when you put the computer together, you got to deal with the binary number. You know what that is?
No, I don't know what that is.
Oh, you already heard that?
Yeah, no, remember we was talking about it on Sunday.
Ah, yeah.
Granted, I told you say things, I remember them, I retain them.
Well, I do say, well, since I'm talking to other folks, I want them to hear that too.
They going to hear it through me.
Well,
I quote you a whole lot.
Well, that sounds good. I really appreciate it. And I can be quiet for the rest of the time. Then.
One last thing. With you turning 85 next week, what is your hope for the future?
The same hope I learned in the past. Only what you do for Christ will last. You may build a skyscraper, grand or tall. You might build a cathedral, large or small. You might even conquer the failure of your past. Only what you do for Christ will last. How that sound?
Sounds good. I think that's a good place to end it.
Amen. The main thing is to keep doing the main thing. Let me give you an adage I learned years ago, coming from Muskegon, Michigan. And I never forgot it. There's a lot of people who have had an opportunity to be successful in life, as you now have, not because of the lack of ability, but because they failed to continue in the thing that pertained to their success. Didn't stick with it long enough. You got to go through the storm and the rain. You got to have your summer, you got to have your fall, and you got to have your winter. But you got to stick with it. You heard of the...
If you went through my Instagram, you'd be like, you sound like me.
Sound like...
I say that quite often.
Wow.
The importance of just continuing.
Continue.
Most people don't get what it is that they want because they stop on the journey.
Too quick.
They stop too quick. Yeah. And most often, I've seen a picture is a meme. Do you know what a meme is?
A meme?
A meme.
A meme.
I'll explain it to you later.
Please.
I saw a picture. It was two men digging for diamonds.
Yeah.
One man was right there. He had like one hit left. He would have got the diamonds.
Yeah.
The other man, he had about 5 hits left. He would have got the diamonds. The one man turned around when he had one hit left while another man was coming. So say all that to say you might be one hit away from getting the diamonds that you were looking for. Right. Don't give up.
That's the catch.
Don't neglect the journey that you've been on, because regardless of where you came from, you're going somewhere. So you might as well continue on the journey or the path that you're going, because the diamonds may be on the other side of the wall that you're aiming towards. You might look at the wall and say, this is too tough for me to deal against. But the strength that you gain through the journey that you've been on makes you strong enough to continue. Yeah. And the only thing that stops you from getting what it is that you want is you giving up.
That's it.
So just don't give up.
That's it. Great point. And it's all true. Have you looked at the book called the Book of Excellence?
Excellence?
Yeah.
Or Exodus?
Excellent.
Excellent.
There's a book on the market called Exodus.
I know.
It might not be on the market, but it's a kind.
Somewhere out there.
It is. There was a person that owned a diamond mine. And a diamond mine, it was gold mine. And the gold mine ran out, the vein ran out. And he got so frustrated that he sold it to somebody else. And he sold it to somebody else, and that person bought that gold mine and knew something about how the vein of gold runs. Might be this way, then it might be another vein start. And he found out the biggest find was just a few feet away, just like you were saying. And he got so disgusted And he went into the insurance business. And he made up in his mind, I'm not going to allow any objection keep me from being success. So all of the people that say no to him, he went after that person with all power and sold more insurance to the one that said no than the one that said yes. Because he had that determination on the inside. I'm not going to be a failure anymore. So obstacles and things that hold back. I'm going to be like that little girl that his mama sent to the boss man's house to ask for 50 cents. Come back on the plantation, had to go to the boss and get her this, that. And that little girl went into that boss man's house. My mama told me that she want to borrow 50 cents. I ain't got no 50 cents for your mama. Somebody else was sitting in the room too. I ain't got no 50 cents for your mama. And she said, Mama said, she want to borrow 50 cents. I don't have no money for your mama, no 50 cents. My mama told me to tell you, she didn't hear the no. She heard mama saying, bring me 50 cents back. Guess what happened? The man went in his pocket.
I'll give 50 cents.
Gave that girl 50 cents and she went skipping down the road. Because she did not let no interfere with what mama said.
So don't
powerful
let no.
Stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, that's very powerful.
And let me give you the adage that we had when I graduated from high school. We had a motto for our class. The road to success is never too crowded. Too many people give up too quick. The road to success is never too crowded.
I think that's powerful enough to let the people think on.
Yeah.
Thank you for sitting down and talk to me.
No problem. Thank you for asking, son.
Also, thank you for the gift of life.
Amen.
I wouldn't be here without you.
God bless you.
So I'm very appreciative to have you, to know you, to learn from you, to be in your presence.
Yes. A wise son makes a glad father.
Thank you, sir.
Amen.